Hey, what's up? This is Sifu Gus. Welcome back. Thank you guys for all the love that we've been getting on our YouTube channel. Appreciate it. Today we're going to be talking about healing that's in combat. And people are like, that's weird. How could they be healing in combat? But when you do the sum total of everything, it really is a 360 system of training. So when you add this concept to your everyday training, no matter what it is, you tend to see wonderful, wonderful benefits. We've been talking about the 8-piece brocade. So now we're on the 3rd piece today. Wise Owl looks back. So what we're going to do now, unlike the other 2 videos, we're going to add the other pieces in. So now you'll have 3 pieces that you can practice. There was a question that came up about breathing. Just keep your breathing as natural as possible while you're learning it, and then later you can change it if you want. We're also going to have, you guys have been asking, and we did a video on different types of swords that we use as village fighters and why we use them. So today I'm going to give you guys a technique on the Chinese broadsword, close quarter technique. Take it, chop it up, see if you like it. And if you guys have any other concepts, comment down below. So I'm not doing forums with it because there's so many forums on YouTube that you guys can live another 100 years and get good forums on YouTube. But I don't see a lot of hand-to-hand combat with it, and we tend to use it all the time. These use the concepts, the principles, and different things like that. So check that out. Let me know what you think. And if you want to see something else with the broadsword, once again, comment down below. All right. So I hope you're enjoying these. These are really cool. I love the 8-piece brocade. So now we're going to do Wise Owl Looks Back. And this is good for fatigue and balancing the emotions in the body. This is one of the things I loved about Qigong because it does so many things. Also, remember, this is in addition to 2 hands hold the heavens and raising 1 hand, the condition, the stomach, and the spleen. We're going to have all the pieces here as we do future episodes here. And it's important that you guys have them as a daily practice. You can do them one time in an increment of 3s, however you want to do it. But as long as you can get it into a practice, you'll see the healing and the preventative work in your body as you're starting to do this more and more. And there's so much wonderful information out there on the 8-piece brocade. I just want to give you a cool introduction to it if you haven't started to practice with it. Enjoy. And for those of you guys who've been asking about our combat, our hand-to-hand combat and weapons, so this is some sword ideas that you can play with, but we talk about weapon, non-weapon, so you'll be able to also do this with your hands as well. So check this out. This is some fun stuff. Just play with it and make it your own for your own style, but take the principles of it and utilize the effectiveness in these sword techniques. All right, I hope you enjoy both of these. All right, so I told you as promised, we're going to do something with a sword. Now, like I mentioned, you can go on YouTube and there's 1,000 sword forms and drills and stuff like that. But I'm going to actually just give you, go straight to it and show you the lesson itself. So we're going to work, as you guys know, the SOB. You've seen him on King Kong Palm. You've seen him on our channel here. He's a village fighter. But I'm using the Chinese broadsword, the Dao here. Dao? the Dao. And I'm just going to show you what happens when we do close quarters. And some of you guys may say, well, this is stupid. Why? No one's going to walk around with a sword in their hand. But for us, it trains us on how to use our body. So we're just going to kind of do what we call a weapon technique and then a non-weapon technique and show you how it works, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is, okay, so Luis is going to throw me a left hand, right? I'm going to come across here and I'm going to slice, right? When I come here, I'm going to punch directly to the face, right? Very simple. So I come, close quarter here, boom, boom, and then punch to the face, right? And so what I do there is I'm utilizing the sword going directly across his midsection. As it moves him, then I am attacking, okay? So now if I put this down, and the concept will go like this. If I go block, strike, strike, right? And so this is what it would look like in real time. If I go, right? That's what it would look like in real time. And the weight of the sword, you have to have a combat steel sword. You cannot do this with a wushu steel sword. You need to have something that has some weight to it because it teaches you how to control your body in action, sinking yourself, rotating your hips, different things like that. Okay? So play with that with your weapon. Be very careful. My suggestion is go really slow with your workout partner because if you go do this too fast, you can actually really hurt somebody. What you're going to learn is how to keep your sword in tight and close. So if a person's closing distance fast, it ain't going to make a huge difference, right? Right? And if they get too close, you can hammer or whatever you want from there. Okay? So have fun with that and let me know in the comments what you think. If you want to see more sword stuff, just let me know, all right, in the comments. So we're going to talk about weapon, non-weapon. Okay, that's what's really important because I live in California. Don't let me walk around with this thing. It would be a lot more fun if I could, right? So anyway, they're not gonna let me walk around with this, but then why do I train with it, right? I can say classical stuff and that's awesome and that's true, but the other part of it is it helps me in my hand-to-hand combat and that I do walk around with, okay? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna have you know the SOV from the village, from our stuff here. If you watched the last episode, I was interviewing him, you learned his backstory. Also, you know him from King Kong Palm as well. So he's part of the King Kong Palm crew. So, and if you're in China, you've met him at the Shaolin Temple, in Wudong, and at Master Wunang Pong School. So that's the SOV. Anyway, but we're gonna work on something. So this time, the SOV is gonna throw me a right straight punch. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move off to the side and stab right into the center, right? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull the sword, I'm gonna cut the lower half, and then punch to the face, right? In this case, I can stab right through the center. So one more time. So I'm gonna block, stab, cut, punch, and come back, okay? Very simple technique. And so the question comes down to, all right, that's cool and all, but how do you use that from a hand-to-hand perspective? So when you're using hand-to-hand, you're going to adjust a few things, right? So let me explain. So he throws, right, and I go one, bam, there's a rib cage right there, right? It's Kung Fu, you gotta have your own sound effects. Which brings his face right here, boom, boom, right? So in real time, it's right? And there it is right there, right? And it's just very direct, very quick. When I move, when he throws here, I'm away from his other weapons. And I am attacking rhythmically. A lot of you guys write in with really good questions. What happens if he throws a second punch? Well, that's why we do it this way. So with the weight of the sword, it teaches me to rotate my hip. So here, come over here for me. So when he throws, right, when he throws, it teaches me to roll my hip. That's where I get from the sword, right? And I can't stand up, lock my body, and be rigid. I have to roll my mass in, right? Yes, I said mass. If I was Master Ron, I probably would say, well, you know what Master Ron would say. But it's important to understand, in the other video we're talking about swords and types of swords. We're using the Chinese broadsword here. So it's important for you guys to get a sword with some weight and do some practicing with it. I may have some practices on here, I may not, who knows. But it is important that you're constantly practicing with it and then get with a workout partner. Do not use a sharpened sword for your workout partner's sake. If you don't like your workout partner, well, I don't know what to tell you. But I suggest don't use a sharpened weapon because you're gonna be really close. Because to me, all fighting is close quarter, right? Unless I have a long spear or something like that. But if I'm with a sword, I gotta get close enough to cut him. Because The broadsword is not a longer sword, it is a closer sword, right? So when I'm moving and I'm cutting, and I get to use my body. And one of the things that they don't talk about with the weapon, and one of the reasons why having a little weight is important, if I hack into him, right? What happens if I cut through and I hit bone, right? My body needs to be in position to drive it through, right? And so you get that when you start, the understanding of that when you start working with heavier weapons. And that's really, really important. Once again, if you are doing performance arts, then forget about what I'm saying unless you want to go down the road of learning combat skill. If you do not know if you're learning whether it's a performance form or a combative form, close quarter combat form, then you need to ask your Sifu. Now on King Kong Palm, we've done some weapons shows, and we're gonna get deeper into that stuff, and that's really, really cool. So also check out King Kong Palm if you get a chance. All right, thank you very much. Sword time, chop, 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 chop. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope this was helpful for you guys. Learning the healing components of what we do is really, really important for longevity. I have done this for a long time. I plan to do this for a lot longer. And you have to use all the components. You have to use the healing components. And we're going to have other things about exercises you guys can do to keep yourself, you know, as they would say in the old days, nimble. But you want to keep yourself active. You want to keep yourself balanced, because you can't have all internal and you can't have all external. So it's important to do something like the Baduan Jin. If the Baduan Jin is not your jam, the 8-piece brocade is not your jam, find something that helps the internal to external. And then when you're utilizing weapons, know why you're using the weapons. If it's just for performance, that's cool, do your thing. But for us as village fighters, we want to use them so we can understand our body on a much deeper level, like the lesson you just saw. All right, be well, we'll see you next time.